listen, if you're a normal human being, you listen to the state of the way we treat our elders, our elder care, and our elder compassion, and you're horrified. But you would think, well, at least the way we treat our children, that's got to be better, right?
Concerned about the treatment of their toddler at a San Antonio daycare, a husband and a wife sewed a recording device into their kid's jacket.
The audio then captured employees using profane language and one even threatening to harm kids in her care.
I'm gonna go and I'm gonna beat both of y'all. That's what I'm gonna do.
KSAT investigates the stunning recordings and the fallout for all sides involved. Here's Dylan Collier.
Just weeks after enrolling their daughter at Moss Rock Kindercare last fall, Aaron and Carly Hernandez noticed a drastic change in their 1.5-year-old's behavior.
She had started being really, really violent, hitting, kicking, screaming.
After witnessing an employee refusing to give her child water, Carly took a page from a spy novel and in December sewed this small recording device into her daughter's fur jacket. For nearly 7 hours, it recorded 2 employees of the Early Childhood Learning Center cursing. One of them repeatedly berated the Hernandez's toddler and other small children inside the facility.
You're nasty. Lots of guys are waiting for some of y'all right now. Touch it and you die. Last time combined for just for her. Just gonna wait, come here, because I will end up in jail.
Aaron had anticipated nothing much being recorded by the device, but after the couple downloaded the audio files,
first thing that she said to me was, "We're not sending her back there," and she had tears in her eyes.
I just felt really deceived and just devastated for my child.
Carly reported the employees to the San Antonio Police Department and Child Protective Services. Both agencies said their investigations are ongoing. Detectives in particular are looking into whether the recordings constitute terroristic threats. Neither woman has been criminally charged.
Really? Well, as long as the investigation's ongoing, right? I mean, that means we're really taking it seriously. But it's just like, this is just an isolated case. And, you know, just like it could be a situation, and just like a bus driver who lost her mind, right? I mean, it might just be old crazy people, or, right? It's just a one-off situation, right? Well, I don't know. Is it? And let's keep it a buck. Given the insane inflation costs of childcare, is it reasonable that there's even one-off? Given how insane the cost is for childcare, how much, to the point where literally single mothers or single parents are finding like, wow, the cost of daycare is almost not worth me going to work if you're just an average income earner. That is how insane the cost of childcare are. So is a one-off type example, is that good enough? I don't know, but let's see if it's a one-off. I don't know. Let's see.
To think like 8 bites, he must have been screaming. He must have been crying. He must have been scared.
As a San Antonio mother undressed her toddler for his bath, she became hysterical when she discovered these. Look at this. Human bite marks all over her son's back. Some spots had broken skin, and she believes these injuries happened at daycare. Well, the next day, her family called KENS 5 to share their story. They sat down with reporter Elisa Nieves, who looks into the history of this East Side child care facility.
March 1st, around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Francisco Rivas walked into Eman Todd Academy off South W.W. White to pick up his son, Noah. As they were walking out, Francisco said he noticed weird marks on Noah's arms.
He was wearing a short sleeve shirt. The bites were very, very visible. They were red, red, puffy, and his dad questioned, like, are those bites? And the lady that brought him out was like, oh my God, those are bites.
The family says the employee went back into the main area of the daycare daycare where parents are not allowed and returned a couple of minutes later.
And said, we don't have an incident report. We don't know what happened. The teacher that was watching him left early. We were short-staffed. We could give you the incident report in the morning. And he was just like, well, y'all don't have it right now. And she was just like, no, because we can't fill it out ourselves. It has to be the teacher that was watching him.
Noah's mom, Victoria Delgado, said Francisco didn't want to make a scene, so he brought Noah home to wash the wounds and apply some ice. Later that night, Victoria sat Noah on the bathroom counter.
I took off his shirt, and good thing like the mirror was behind him, so when I was pulling up his shirt, I saw in the reflection the 6 bites on his back.
State policy requires a child care facility to file an incident report whenever a child is injured.
But why would they follow
Parents
that?
must also be notified of less serious injuries, such as bites, as soon as they pick up their child.
Them changing him, feeding him, they didn't see those visible bites all day, and they didn't call us and ask like, hey, did your son have bites?
Victoria says she immediately called the daycare.
From the director of the daycare, she was apologizing. She said she didn't know what happened. She wasn't there on the premises, and that she would, watch the video and try to figure out,
that is crazy.
What happened.
Victoria took Noah to the emergency room where a doctor prescribed him a week's worth of antibiotics.
The doctor did say that they are child bites.
She filed a report with SAPD at the Children's Hospital of San Antonio. In a preliminary report, police say they were called there by a mother who said when she picked up her 2-year-old son from a local daycare, she observed that her son had multiple bite marks on his body. Victoria also called CPS to report the daycare.
And he can't talk. He's only a year old. I can't ask him, like, who are you,
The family said the daycare director promised to reach out again the following day. They say they're still waiting for that call.
We had put him in there previously, took a break because we couldn't afford it. And then I started school. CCS helped me out, and which is why I put him in daycare. I didn't even want to put him in daycare. I didn't have no one else to watch him.
March 2nd, Noah's grandfather recorded this conversation at the daycare.
1 bite or 2, but 8, that's neglect and abuse.
The person he's talking to, he says, is an employee of Eman Todd Academy.
There was something that we seen on the cameras. We had our state person that just came, that just left.
Why do you think that's better, lady? Why do you think that's better? Why do you think
For Texas facilities licensed to care for 13 or more children, there are ratio rules daycares must follow. This chart from the minimum standards for child care centers shows the mandatory ratio depends on the child's age. Noah, for example, falls under the 18 to 23 months category, meaning his group can only have up to 9 children per caregiver.
Yes, it's usually 2 people in the classroom, and it doesn't have to be because it's only 1 to 11. And yesterday, I believe it was only 10 children. And so it was 1 teacher in there instead of 2.
We went to the daycare too.
I'm a reporter with Channel 5, and I'm here about Mr. Noah Rivas. The family said that he got these bite marks here, and I was wondering if I might be able to talk with someone. No, we're not able to talk.
First of all, you're not.
Friday, Victoria met with the Texas Department of Family Protective Services and CPS. We did some digging on the Texas Health and Human Services website and found since they opened in 2016, technology innovative for today's youth doing business as Eman Todd Academy doesn't show a history of serious problems or infractions. Compared to the other 148 licensed child care centers in Bexar County that accept subsidies and opened in 2016 or later, the number of deficiencies at Eman Todd Academy lands about average. The most serious incidents involved the discovery of an infant in a crib with a stuffed toy and the daycare not releasing a child to a parent because of a custody dispute. HHS said the issues were resolved. Victoria called the city's child care services to get Noah an emergency transfer to another daycare.
Obviously, it shouldn't have happened, but I would hate for it to happen to someone else's child.
Right now, we're in talks with CPS to see if there's any investigation going on that's involving this daycare. In the meantime, if any parent out there feels that their child's injury happened on site at a daycare, they should immediately call the
So what do you think? Sound like a one-off? Because it is one thing, right, for y'all to be threatening children. I'm going to be real. I was raised on being threatened Like, it seems almost like normal to me, but I understand that my view of this is abnormal. You feel me? So that's okay. Fine. But you trying to tell me that you said you checked the cameras. You said you checked the cameras and did not see at all where either 8 children or multiple children mobbed this child while this child screamed in bloody agony and they bit till they broke the skin, or one child harassed this child all day long, chasing him places and biting him over and over and over, to the point where breaking through teeth again, to the point where I'm sure you would have been screaming in bloody pain. And you're trying to tell me no part of your camera or monitoring devices caught this. How do you, I want you to think about how long the average toddlers would have to be unattended for not 1 bite, but 8 bites to have occurred on the same child. Okay. And then how unattended are you exactly that the screaming that would have for sure ensued was entirely not noticed, to the point where it could happen 8 times in the same day? Bruh. But I mean, okay, fine. Maybe they're negligent, yelling and screaming and all kinds of crazy stuff at kids and threatening them and whatever, right? Maybe they're literally just not even watching them and making sure that they are safe and not hurting each other or hurting themselves, or literally being bitten, like eaten by other children. But you know, probably ain't so bad. Still, right? The sad thing is, those are not the only 2 stories that are very recent. Very recent. Y'all comment down below, okay? In the chat if you're watching live, or, you know, in the comments if you're watching the replay. And let me know what you think. What is the solution? What do we do about this? How do we make these childcare facilities, daycare, safer, more effective, more affordable? And especially when we're talking about kids who need the facilitated facilities, right? But they need assistance or whatever, for parents who are trying to get back up on their feet, or who are trying to build something so that way they don't need the assistance from the government. What do we do to make those facilities better and safer? Because if that was the only option that I had for my kid, would I choose to be a welfare queen for life, or would I choose to keep sending my kid somewhere where they would be that horribly abused, berated, and treated, neglected? Maybe next time I come to show up for them, the kid's not even there or isn't alive. Which one would I choose? Probably welfare queen for life, right? So we need to have some type of faith that our children are going to be protected in daycare, in schools, right? I don't even know the solution. Y'all comment down below. Let me know if you've got one.